Now, here's one from Shep. I would love to know what you think about wrestling in North Korea. What was it like? Now, that was at Collision in Korea, 2 nights in North Korea, April of 95. And that was a crazy trip. There was a documentary. North Korea was a dictatorship as now and a scary place, correct?
Yes, very.
What was it like for you?
Well, I was uncomfortable from the time we got there because they took me and Ali and separated us from everybody else. Took us to a different hotel, so I wasn't even in the same hotel with all the guys. And then they he and I were the royalty, I guess, of the event. I had never wrestled Inoki. I'd never even met him prior to that because I was always working for Baba as a world champion. Or I think I'd met him, but anyway, we never got to talk or anything. We just got in the ring. I said, a referee said, "You okay?" I said, "Yeah." He gave me the finish. I said, "Yeah." I said, "Just tell him to trust me." And then he came back and said, he said, "Lead away." So it was good. We had an average match. We're not being in the ring and not being that familiar with each other. Yeah, he and Fujinami, I could work with those guys all day long. Muda.
So wait, you never talked with Inoki about the match until you were in the ring?
I never saw him until we got in the ring. The whole tour, the whole trip.
And the referee gave you the finish, and you just did it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I just said, what do you want to do? And that's what it was. And I just said, listen to me, like, let me get the figure four on and all this stuff, and here's another shocker. Of course, I was all promised all this stuff again by WCW or whoever was the boss. You can fill in the blanks. It was supposed to never air anywhere. They made a pay-per-view out of it, sold it. I never got a dime.
That's a familiar theme on this podcast. You never getting a dime.
First of all, they promised me, not that they had to. They'll never be seen anywhere. They made a DVD out of it. I never got paid a dime.
There were 165,000 people in the stadium. What was the crowd like?
190.
190. What was the crowd like?
Silent. Until Inoki. The whole show was silent until Inoki came out. Then they went crazy. Not because the match was so good. Because he's Korean.
Right, I know.
Yeah. So he was like, in their eyes, a returning hero.
Now, why were you in that match against Inoki? Why were you selected? Why wasn't it Hogan? Why wasn't it somebody else?
They wouldn't go. They wanted George Foreman first, Hogan second, me third.
Why wouldn't they go? Just because of Korea? Or?
Yeah, they didn't go. They were smart.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Hogan didn't want to do the job either.
Here's Eric Bischoff. You're going to be more famous than Lawrence Taylor. Okay, let's do this. That sounds good. I see LT all the time. I say, am I still more famous than you?
Now, you were in a different hotel. So how many days were you guys there? Because that must have been a long time.
We were there 5 we were there 3 days too long. They wouldn't let us go.
Who did you socialize with since you weren't at the hotel with the boys?
A bartender that didn't speak English.
That's it?
Yeah.
Wow.
A bunch of bartenders.
That's a tough trip.
Yeah. Yeah, what's his name? Scott Norton was cussing out his stay with talking to his wife, Tammy, and they cut off Norton's phone.
Right, and somebody came to see him, he said. That's pretty scary.
Very heavily scrutinized.
And finally, from Clarksvillian.
When we landed in Nagoya, I literally got off that private jet and kissed the ground. Swear to God. Whew.